start the conversation by giving some context to our viewers. So what would you say is your assessment of the prevailing state of the sector today in Sri Lanka?
All right, so the food industry is a very essential and important industry because people have to eat. The food industry is still very strong amidst all the challenges we had to go through in the last 3 years. So I would say it's been a tough journey, but the players really came to the front and proved their commitment to the consumers, the sector, the industry, the country. Having survived that, today we see steady growth. Things are looking much better than it was. So very hopeful for the future.
Today we have Trump's trade wars happening, global volatility. How is the sector evolving, the sector dynamics, to be resilient amongst all this?
Not only trade wars, now with this India-Pakistan war that is happening, it's going to be if it prevails, it's going to be an even bigger challenge because Sri Lanka is highly dependent on India because most of our food products that we consume in this country is imported. There's only one option here. We need to find alternative solutions until you're self-sustainable. But it's a journey. It can't happen overnight. However, in the process, you can't allow your consumer to lack. So you have to get there while you don't allow the consumer to lack. You don't stop feeding the system. So it's a gradual journey. So for that, you need to find alternative solutions. End of the day, you need to risk manage your business. It is for a business, it is for a country, it is for everything, right? For any organization or corporate or country, you need to risk manage it. You can't put all your eggs into one basket. Challenges will be there. I always say the best years are gone. Now it is the toughest years. But the cycle will now come back, keep changing, and then come to the best years again. The businesses, the leaders who were able to thrive, grow during this time will be untouchable at that time.
How does global market volatility impact the food sector in Sri Lanka? We spoke about all of this and more with Shiran Peiris. Stay tuned.
When you have an ambition, trust your instincts, move forward. This is your moment to shape your future, to be independent, to strengthen yourself. Your time is now. Accelerate your progress, empowering your progress for a fulfilled life. Union Assurance.
For 30 years, LMD has been the voice of business in Sri Lanka, capturing the pulse of the nation's corporate landscape through its iconic covers. Each cover tells a story, from the first edition in 1994 to the present day, narrating key moments, leaders and trends that have shaped Sri Lanka's business ecosystem. Over the years, LMD covers have featured thought leaders, business pioneers and game-changing innovations, reflecting the evolution of industries and the economy. As we celebrate 30 years, these covers represent more than just publications. They are a testament to LMD's legacy of excellence in business journalism and its unwavering commitment to being Sri Lanka's leading voice of business. LMD, Sri Lanka's voice of business, a legacy of 30 years.
Hello and welcome to LMDtv. The topic of conversation today is the food sector, and I'm here with the chairman of Asriel Holdings, Shiran Peiris. Welcome to our show.
Thank you.
Let's start the conversation by giving some context to our viewers. So what would you say is your assessment of the prevailing state of the sector today in Sri Lanka?
All right, so the food industry is a very essential and important industry because people have to eat, right? So the food industry is still very strong amidst all the challenges we had to go through in the last 3 years.
Right.
I mean, in a nutshell, starting from COVID to the economic crisis we had to go through, and then the challenges from global freight the challenges in the shipping. It's been a constant challenge. So, but however, the industry didn't let the consumer down.
Right. Yes.
So I would say it's been a tough journey, but the players really came to the front and proved their commitment to the consumers, the sector, the industry, the country, and having survived that, today we see growth. We see growth. We see steady growth, and things are looking much better than it was. So very hopeful for the future.
So, like you said, Shiran, I mean, from COVID to the economic crisis, and today we have Trump's trade wars happening, global volatility. How is the sector evolving, the sector dynamics, to be resilient amongst all this?
So it's like this. As I said, i- business has, while the local market is growing to a certain extent, the conditions to do business is ever challenged. And not only trade wars, now with this India-Pakistan war that is happening, it's going to be if it prevails, it's going to be an even bigger challenge, because Sri Lanka is highly dependent on India, because most of our food products that we consume in this country is imported. Right, and if you take our onions, our potatoes, our dal, we have a significant amount of products coming from India and from Pakistan. So that means we are going to have a
Yeah,
challenge.
impacted either way.
Yeah, impacted either way. So there's only one option here. We need to find alternative solutions until you're self-sustainable. Self-sustenance is the ultimate goal, but it's a journey. It can't happen overnight. However, in the process, you can't allow your consumer to lack. So you have to get there while you don't allow the consumer to lack.
Yeah.
You don't stop feeding the system. So it's a gradual journey. So for that, you need to find alternative solutions. So if potato is example, if potato is not available if it is not coming from India, we have to look at Bangladesh. Right, we have to work on developing the industries. We have to, and while we develop suppliers, so supply chain departments are really going to be tested.
Yes.
They have been tested from COVID.
From COVID, they've not had a break.
Yeah, so actually, hats off to all the supply chain teams.
Yeah.
They have really put on an amazing show, because if you take even the Sri Lankan industry, during the economic crisis, we didn't have dollars, right? But our imports, we managed, right? We managed. There was not a time then our people were left hungry. Somehow the companies managed. However, going forward, we have to build alternate suppliers. We just can't say, no, it is not available. We just can't say, it's not there, we have to stop. So building alternative suppliers, building alternative nations, and looking at self-sustainability should be prioritized like never before. So now trade wars, now for example, yes, US. I mean, yes, okay, we need to try to keep it still favorable.
Yeah.
However, while you have a team, focusing on that. You need to have 3 teams focusing on opening new markets. So because see, it's like this. End of the day, you need to risk manage your business. It is for a business, it is for a country, it is for everything, right? For any organization or corporate or country, you need to risk manage it. You can't put all your eggs into one basket. So how I do it is, while you need to separate the two. One team to focus on sustaining existing business and solving problems in the existing business, and 2 or 3 teams aggressive to go out there and build and find new markets, because then you're actually focusing on growth. So
That's
sometimes
the firefighting.
and also you remain constant, and you become complacent. So opportunities like this brings out the aggression out of you. So hopefully things will work out for our favor, but long term, we have to look at, sustainable programs where we build, if we have potato, we have to look at further developing the agricultural sector, where we can save that money, right? Save that money and be self-sufficient. So challenges will be there. I always say the best years are gone. Now it is the toughest years. But but the cycle will now come back, keep changing, and then come to the best years again. But the businesses, the leaders who were able to thrive, grow during this time, will be untouchable at that time. Of course. So that's
The test of fire.
Yes, yes. But Sri Lanka produces some of the best talent. You go to, now if you take the hotel industry, some of the best chefs in the world are produced in Sri Lanka. You go to the top resorts in Dubai, Burj Al Arab, Four Seasons. I mean, who do you find? All Sri Lankan guys, all Sri Lankan chefs. What does that say? We build quality. We build quality. We are a nation building quality, maybe not quantity, but quality. But we need to find a mechanism to
Cement that.
cement and maintain and further developing.
Lovely. You mentioned the customer who's, been there, resilient, been catered to, but also evolving. Along the, let's say, past 3 years and now, how have you seen customer needs shaping up?
See, this health factor has become even more, of utmost importance, because today it is the population in the early 40s or less than 40s who suffer from these sicknesses like diabetes and all of this, that at once upon a time, maybe people encountered it later in their lives.
70s or 80s, yeah, that's true.
So it's only because of people's lifestyles have changed. People have got more busier. People have got more lazier. People have become too dependent on technology, and as a result, consumer has gotten sick in the process. So because of all of that, the need for health or healthy products have come up, and it's very evident now. If you take anything, a biscuit or a soft drink or whatever, I mean, the sugar content, what you had before is not the sugar content now. And those days we never had a red signal on a now you look at it, it scares you before you eat it. But it is a problem. So it has to be catered to. It has to be catered to. Then also consumers, I feel a lot of consumers are more exposed than what they were before because of technology. Today, so, what happens in the trend, what is that, Dubai chocolate?
Yes.
Dubai chocolate became a success in Dubai. 50 minutes later, it is a trend in Sri Lanka, in Asia. Why? Because social media technology is just rapid. So because of that, people's exposure is of a different level, and because there's a good and bad there. One, the good thing there is people get exposed, so it gives the market new opportunity to open up. New opportunity can open up because people are exposed to new things. But at the same time, because it happens so regularly, people get fed up also fast. So while the opportunity comes, people also get fed up of the opportunity fast. So NPD, new product development, has to be on another level. Organizations have to be on another level, because consumer now, while they are health conscious, they are more exposed. And a more exposed guy is while you can feed new opportunity, they also get fed up of opportunity fast. I'll give you the best example is, you take this catering companies that do the office meals.
Yes.
Office meals, right?
Innovated.
For 3 months, they start, everyone likes.
Yeah.
Then the 4th month onwards, complaints. Why? Because people, they get fed up of the same thing. So consumer,
They're
consumer is,
keeping the producers on edge.
they are keeping all the companies on edge. See, the reality is, if you are not innovative, creative, and aggressive, innovative, creative, and aggressive, if this combination and formula is not at its best right now, you can't sustain the consumer. So, consumer is spoiled. So you need to manage it.
It's time now to take a very short break, but we'll soon be back to talk more about the food sector.
Display your brand message on digital screens at prime locations. The largest digital advertising network in Sri Lanka. Emerging Media.
Welcome back to the show. We're in conversation with the chairman of Asriel Holdings, Shiran Peiris. And what do you think are the biggest challenges for companies when they are trying to be innovative, creative, and aggressive? What are the challenges? Apart from the macro.
Now, if you take Sri Lanka, the biggest challenge is to keep the best in the country, right? If you look at now, let me go back to the example I said. Some of the best chefs in the Middle East are our chefs, right? But because they are not taken, they are not paid to their potential. They are not exposed to the opportunity, and they are not paid to the potential they carry.
Yeah.
They go out, right? And they do amazing things there. So we have to find ways to retain these people because we have top talent. Sri Lankans are amazing. So we need to, once we find potential, once we find capacity, once we find character, and once we find creativity in a person, you have to do everything to retain that person. Otherwise, because whatever is top start,
Yeah.
it takes time to
Rebuild. Yes.
get into action. But we need to keep the best in the country.
That retention strategy.
That's right. We have to keep retain these people, and then companies also have to, as I said, they have to just be creative like never before.
On the ball.
Yes, because now go back to this example, Dubai chocolate. I mean, who did you ever imagine?
Yeah.
Because of that chocolate, there is a global shortage of pistachio now.
Pistachio. Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Because of one lady who decided to wake up
Yeah.
in the night, wake up in the morning and decide, hey, I'm going to do something different to the chocolate industry. So what?
It's everywhere.
She was a crazy creative person. So now that is not only a viral trend, it opened up a massive market.
People are
So
cooking at home now. Yes.
you have
So much of content.
crazy creativity is essential.
It's essential. Wow.
And then, of course, I always say distribution is very, very important.
Of course.
Right? Distribution. See, distribution is a game changer. It doesn't matter how good your product is, how attractive it looks, how good it tastes, if it doesn't get to the hands of the consumer. So companies have to make sure that they get this product, their products that they invested so much of money into, time into, brand building into. They need to make sure that it gets to the hands of the consumer at convenience. So if that happens, I think companies will remain and grow.
So, Shiran, it's been a lovely conversation, but sadly we are nearing the end of it. To end things off, can I ask you to share what you think the next 6 months or the rest of the year is going to be for the sector?
I strongly believe that Sri Lanka is on a good track. There is a lot of good things happening, and I'm very hopeful. And we need prayer for peace in the region, where we don't have this conflict, regional conflicts. If that is if that is peace, if that is at peace, then I mean Sri Lanka is growing. this country will always
Bounce back.
strike,
Yes.
strive, bounce back, and get back onto the top, because this is a nation that is an amazing nation. It has amazing people, amazing country. It is a blessed nation. This country is only one way this country is going is upward.
We've been in conversation with the chairman of Asriel Holdings, Shiran Peiris. Shiran, thank you for an insightful conversation.
Thank you.
And thank you to all our viewers for joining us. Until next time, take care.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and X. Thank you for watching and stay safe.